Are you ready to look behind the facade of history? To step into a world where public service and private oaths intertwine, creating a mysterious labyrinth that stretches across centuries. Welcome to an investigation of one of the most intriguing modern mysteries, the connections between the British royal family and the powerful, enigmatic society of the Freemasons. This isn't just a tale of monarchs and secret brotherhoods. This is a journey into the shadowy corridors of power, where symbolism blends with reality, and the history we know may only be the tip of the iceberg. Our story begins with a figure at the very foundation of modern Britain, King George IV. He wasn't just a monarch, he was a prominent Freemason, a patron of the lodges that flourished in the Regency era. Imagine, a man with immense secular power, simultaneously participating in the rituals of a secret order, pledging allegiance not only to the crown but also to his lodge brothers. This raises the first, unsettling question: who serves whom? Does the king serve the Masons, or do the Masons serve the king? But the true epicenter of the mystery revolves around the powerful figure of Prince Albert, husband to Queen Victoria. Albert was not just a Mason, he was an initiator, the driving force, and the chief organizer of the Great Exhibition of 1851, an event that proclaimed the might of the British Empire. And now, consider this: the central symbol of that exhibition was the giant glass palace, the Crystal Palace, an architecture saturated with Masonic symbolism, suns, stars, compasses, and set squares. Was the exhibition merely a celebration of progress? Or could it have been a grand Masonic celebration, a symbolic dedication of the entire world under the auspices of a new, rational order, a blueprint for a new world order? After Albert's sudden death in 1861, Queen Victoria ordered the construction of the Albert Memorial in Kensington. Look at it closely, it is not merely a monument. It is a Masonic mausoleum, embodied in gold and stone, with the figure of the prince himself holding the catalogue of the exhibition, the sacred book of his deeds. And this memorial looks directly at the Royal Albert Hall, another temple of knowledge, whose construction was overseen by the highest Masonic ranks. Moving further into the 20th century. King Edward VII, a Masonic king who ruled in the first decade of the new century. And then, the most controversial figure, the Duke of Windsor, the former King Edward VIII, who abdicated the throne for love. But was love the only reason? Conspiracy theorists point to his close, very close ties to the Nazi high command, many of whom, it is known, were also Masons, until Hitler banned the order. Could his abdication have been part of a larger, secret game? An attempt to establish an alternative, pro-Hitler alliance between Britain and Germany, where Masonic connections would serve as a secret channel? An analysis of these facts leads us to deep, philosophical questions. If monarchs, the symbols of a nation and its unity, were swearing oaths to a secret society, what does that mean for the concept of loyalty? Where is the line between service to the public and service to a closed group of the chosen? Perhaps, for the royal family, Freemasonry was not a conspiracy, but a tool. A tool of management, a network of connections, an alternative shadow government that allowed them to exert influence beyond the reach of parliaments and public opinion. Or perhaps, it was a method of spiritual quest, access to esoteric knowledge passed down through centuries, knowledge of a divine order that the monarch, as God's anointed, was meant to embody on earth. Why is this important today? This topic is not just archaeology of the past. It is a lens through which we can examine the nature of power in our world. It forces us to question the obvious, to seek hidden connections, to understand that history is often a cipher, not an open book. It reminds us that behind the glamour of royal ceremonies, behind the jubilee speeches, there may lie another, parallel reality, with its own laws, duties, and goals. So, the next time you see an image of the British monarch, look closer. Look at the symbols on the royal regalia, the architecture of the buildings they visit, the shadows cast by the monuments built for their ancestors. Perhaps within these symbols lies the most important secret of all. The secret of who has truly held the threads of power for centuries, and what oaths older than any living parliament still shape our world today. And that, perhaps, is the most important secret of them all. But the intrigue doesn't end with the past. It whispers into the present. Consider the architecture of power itself. The very heart of London, from the layout of its grand squares to the symbology adorning its most important government buildings, can be read as a Masonic text for those who know how to look. The use of classical proportions, the omnipresent all-seeing eye, the phoenixes and pillars, all are elements steeped in the esoteric tradition that Freemasonry helped popularize among the elite. When a monarch inaugurates a bridge or opens a new wing of parliament, are they merely performing a civic duty, or are they, perhaps unconsciously, consecrating a landscape designed according to a secret blueprint? This leads us to the ultimate, philosophical chasm at the heart of this mystery. Are we witnessing a deliberate, centuries-long conspiracy for control? Or is it something both more complex and more profound, a shared worldview, a unique cultural and philosophical current that has simultaneously shaped both the secret society and the dynasty? A current that believes in order over chaos, hierarchy over equality, and the rule of enlightened initiates over the masses. The royal family, in this light, becomes not necessarily the puppet masters, but the ultimate symbols and guardians of this ancient order, a living, breathing link to a system of power that operates on a different frequency than our democratic noise. So, what is the truth? It is a mosaic, fractured and deliberately obscured by time, ceremony, and official denial. We may never find a single document that proves a grand conspiracy. But the pattern is undeniable. The connections are too frequent, the symbolism too precise, the coincidences too staggering to be dismissed entirely. This story challenges our perception of history as a linear sequence of random events. It suggests instead that beneath the surface, powerful, enduring forces are at work, forces that operate through networks, symbols, and bloodlines that transcend the lifespan of any single individual. This is why the topic is crucial. It's not about proving a specific theory, but about learning to see the world in multiple dimensions. It's about understanding that power rarely shows its true face, preferring instead the dignified mask of tradition and the hidden language of symbols. The silent complicity between the crown and the lodge serves as a permanent reminder that the official narrative is often just one version of the story. The real history, the one that truly explains the flow of power and influence, is written not in books, but in stone, in ritual, and in the unspoken vows that bind the most exclusive club on earth, the club of those who believe they are born to rule, not just by divine right, but by secret covenant.